League of Legends, a game which many of the player base truly hate. I hate it, you hate it, yet we still play it at the cost of our sanity. But one Pro League player has a truly unbreakable spirit.
I love League of Legends! I love League of Legends!
Michael ImaQTpie Santana was once the heart and soul of Team Dignitas, and played a key role in maintaining the morale and providing the damage required of an underdog team aiming to beat the greats. But just how did ImaQTpie go all these years having the carefree attitude that he's had throughout his time in the Pro League of Legends scene, to now being a full-time streamer just enjoying his time playing video games? Hello world, my name is Harmless, and in today's video we're going to be answering the question of who is ImaQTpie. Michael's story started on the 21st of February 1992 in Margate, Florida. His love for gaming started early on in his life with games such as SOCOM US Navy SEALs. He began playing League of Legends near the release of the game purely because it was free to play. Little did he know what impact this new MOBA would have on his life. His name originated from his mum calling him Q, and only a couple months after picking up League, he began participating in small-scale local tournaments with a team called Oh God Bears as a mid laner, which is the team that became known as a pro team throughout the community as they managed to beat the well-renowned players of CLG, and was eventually noticed by Skara of Team Rock Solid, who was looking for a temporary stand-in for their top laner Voidboy, as he was too young to compete in the tournament they had entered, and ImaQTpie had just absolutely smacked them in a previous game. ImaQTpie accepted this opportunity to join the team, as the only player he was playing for in his current team was moving away to a university in China, as well as the fact he felt like he would fit in with the group.
And I figured, wow, these guys look like a bunch of fucking losers, just like me. I guess I'll join.
He was then placed in his main role of AD carry. His first game, he managed to convince the rest of his team that AP Lich playing Caitlyn was OP. It was not OP. His new team Rock Solid were on a roll at the time, and had just come off a surprisingly good run in the 2010 Winter One Fest tournament, beating all teams up to the semi-finals and only losing to Pro Team CLG, which was a huge surprise to most League of Legends esports fans. The additions of ImaQTpie would further their success, and he would be given a more permanent role on the squad over the course of the upcoming months, where the teams would compete and be very successful in a large number of small-scale tournaments. While most League players in other teams picked what they thought was meta and OP, ImaQTpie said, "Ew, cringe, you're all trash and I'm gonna play whatever I want." And so you'd see random picks like Malphite ADC, and he would still stomp on many of the bot lanes. The success of the team was noticeable enough to attract the attention of a rather large and upcoming gaming organization, which went by the name of Team Dignitas, who then signed on the members of Team Rock Solid, creating a new team under their own org's name, and would go on to compete in their first ever on-stage tournament at IPL 3. Voidboy, who went to do cringe things like go to school to get an education, forced the team to find another temporary stand-in, which came in the form of a player called Low Cicero. With Skara abusing the broken Akali and Low Cicero crushing during the tournament and ImaQTpie dealing the big damage, they would easily swipe at the competition, and won their first ever tournament as Team Dignitas. A couple weeks after this, they would then compete in their first international tournament, IEM Global Challenge in New York, and were incorrectly informed of Fnatic being a weak team. They were of course not a weak team, and Dignitas was sent packing. ImaQTpie of course had little care regarding the loss, and immediately dipped to go to a Hatsune Miku concert, where he got scammed out of $90 for a counterfeit Hatsune Miku statue. The next tournament they entered would take all of the best teams in the world and put them into a well-loved format, the King of the Hill. As the next challenge approached the members of Dignitas, they would be met with an absolute banger of a tune.
You and I, we have met before, through the magic of a moment in cyberspace, driven by
the World Cyber Games. A replica of the traditional sport Olympic Games, the World Cyber Games featured teams representing countries, forcing many of the professional league rosters to be swapped around. Luckily, ImaQTpie's team was all-American, so absolutely no swap was needed. Their team's jungler Jat had a dual Canadian-American citizenship, and had helped out his Canadian friends by playing a game for them on a Smurf account, which brought a lot of controversy to Dignitas as there was a rule against people doing this very thing. Regardless, Jat still played for the team, and they managed to reach the finals of the USA qualifiers, where they would lose and then win their way into qualifying into representing America. ImaQTpie would fall out with Jat, who made many bad calls and refused to listen to feedback. and the community were rather salty with the whole scumbag Jat thing, combined with them cheesing the rules into a rematch on the finals. This all led to Dignitas losing their jungler, who was then replaced by legendary player IWillDominate. Dom managed to arrive into the team just a day before the IEM Kiev tournament, and Dignitas managed to beat SK2-1 to grab an easy 3,400 guaranteed bucks in 3rd place, which allowed them to qualify for the IEM World Championship. Eventually, the grand finals loomed over them, and they had just discussed for 2 hours prior to the match starting that they would be expecting an early jungle invade, and that they would need to use their wards to protect against that.
They're gonna invade us 100%. Don't waste your wards. Don't waste your wards. We're gonna get invaded. We need to ward.
To do well.
Okay, who has the wards up? I got mine up, but I need to save it. Okay, Locust. Do you have your ward? Locust? Locust.
Soon after, Dignitas would embark on a trip to Korea to participate in a tournament called the OGN Champions League, featuring teams from all over the world. This didn't go well either. Dom suffered from a variety of health issues, and their support Locust would get hard stuck silver on the Korean servers, and would then get dropped from the team. Voibo also then left to go to CLG. Approaching the end of the 2nd season of League of Legends, there was a tournament called the 2012 MLG Summer Championship, and was one of the last chances team had to qualify for the Season 2 Worlds, which was a tournament that boasted the largest prize pool amount for a League of Legends tournament ever seen, and would also be the tournament that gave teams the opportunity to change their seeding for the NA Regionals, which then gave the winning teams a spot on the new upcoming LCS. Dignitas did manage to make it to the grand finals, but were annoyed about how poorly the tournament was ran, and so in agreement with the other team would pick 5 random characters and ran it down mid lane. Dig lost the ARAM, but their opponent's curse were denied their prize money because of the fact Riot called it colluding. Dignitas were then placed against Team Dynamic in the NA Regionals and would win 2-0 to move on to play against their old rivals CLG, who now had adopted their former member Voiboy. They took an easy first win, and after one of the most back and forth League of Legends games lasting over an hour, Dignitas would then take the 2nd win to secure their spot in Worlds and the LCS. ImaQTpie of course wasn't as enthusiastic as the rest of his team, but regardless, they would then have the opportunity to compete in Worlds in true NA fashion, which they executed perfectly by not winning a single game in the group stage. Both ImaQTpie and IWillDominate were invited to a Riot preview event to ask for input on the upcoming skins that they were developing, and they were not good. Neither ImaQTpie or IWillDominate held back and criticized the design, unknowingly right in front of the designer. Riot were rather salty about this, and IWillDominate had been investigated by Riot Games, who had found he had been extremely toxic to other players in solo queue. And so the ban hammer came, and while it was aimed at both of the Dignitas players, only Dom got banned, as Skyrim managed to convince Riot Games that ImaQTpie was autistic, which they bought, narrowly avoiding losing 2 team members at the same time. Since the start of the LCS era was here, the Pro League scene moved away from short, snappy, drama-filled tournaments, and became more structured like the traditional sports scenes. As a result, many of the players and viewers found this to be a lot more boring. After the team failing to once again qualify for Worlds, they started the next season in a very promising fashion, and then absolutely blew it. A big turning point in ImaQTpie's career came up when an important game came up, and ImaQTpie rallied the team and asked what his mid laner would play, who replied, "I'm gonna play Ziggs." He soon after left the team to pursue streaming as a full-time career, and Dignitas very quickly lost their spot and got relegated from the LCS. ImaQTpie then very quickly rose to the top of live streaming on Twitch, becoming one of the highest viewed streamers on the platform. Then started an ongoing feud with fellow AD carry Doublelift, and I expect to see a boxing match between the two. He would eventually return to his competitive side when a team formed called Delta Fox brought on the most iconic roster of the once famed Dignitas squad, although the nostalgia wasn't enough to carry them to any kind of victory. 2018 was peak ImaQTpie content, and he would go on to reach over 2.6 million followers on his Twitch. Eventually, the burnout caught up to him, and he has since moved towards creating a more variety of different content instead of only League of Legends. From Overwatch 2 to Apex Legends to Valorant. And with that, we're all caught up with the ImaQTpie of today. Thank you all for watching, I very much hope you enjoyed. I'm very sorry about being late on the upload, I've been busy with work stuff since I'm starting a new job. But if you guys hit the subscribe button, then maybe I can make this my job, and then I can hire an editor, and then I won't have any late uploads. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching, don't forget to leave a like if you'd like to see more. I hope to see you next time. Goodbye for now.